Okay, that's it. I think we're live. Hello, Facebook. Hello, LinkedIn. I will just give the platforms a minute to just let you know I am live, but I'm here tonight and here talking to you and share, here with Fiona, and I'll introduce Fiona a bit more in a second, and to talk to you a little bit about core. And this is something that if you followed me for a little while, or you've been involved in the Pilates experience that I ran last week in my Facebook group, you will see that I talk about core and I mention core. And you might be thinking, well, what is it? And it's an online Pilates membership, but it's not just an online Pilates membership, it's much more. And I'm not going to go through it all now, because it's better to hear it, I sometimes think, from someone who is actually a member of core, someone who is actually inside and experiencing it for themselves. Because I can tell you from my point of view what it offers, but that might be very different from someone else's point of view as a member. And so I've invited Fiona tonight, and we're going to chat in a bit, and that should give you far better insight into what it's like. And I always think it's nice, isn't it, when you go to buy something, you always look at the reviews, don't you? Look at what other people say, or the recommendations of what they reckon about the product or the service or whatever, and it always gives you a good idea. So I'm just going to check on my phone that we are here. Yes, that's us. So that's good. We're on Facebook. I'm just going to check that we're on LinkedIn, and then we will get started properly. Let me check, because I managed to find it last night. It's the first time I've done the live on LinkedIn. Yep, brilliant. Fantastic. There we are. So please comment if you want to. If you want to ask anything, please comment in the group. If you're here and you're watching live, please say hello. And if you watch on replay, by all means, say hello and comment and question, and I can then get back to you as well after that. So Fiona is a member of core. She joined just over a year ago now, about 14 months or so. And it's been lovely to be part of her journey as we've gone over that year, and lots of changes, obviously, in the world outside as well. But I really wanted to share with you Fiona's story and how core has helped her, and how her transformation in core. So she is a busy mum of two children, although, as you said a minute ago, Fiona, you said sometimes it feels more like 22 children. Yeah. And I'm sure we can all relate to that, and work full time, and so juggling family life with work life and with you life as well, and that sort of thing. So hi Nicola, thank you for joining us. So Fiona, let's just start off then with why you became a member of core back in 2020. What drew you to core? Why did you join?
Well, before the lockdown of 2020, I was a gym member, and I was constantly, rushing from work to try and get to the gym before I got home, and that was just kind of the way it was. It didn't occur to me that there was any other way. And then obviously lockdown happened, so stopped going to the gym. And after, I was all right to begin with, because I think we were doing, we were up every morning and doing Joe Wicks, as most of the country was.
Yeah.
But gradually, as life sort of started to return to some kind of normal, I couldn't find the space in my day to get to the gym. There just, that space just seemed to have evaporated. Yeah. So I started to look around for something different. Found your YouTube videos initially. And did a few of those, and then I think just core, I think we decided it was the second intake of core, so just kind of was there for that. I thought, oh well, I'll give it a go. I did the bite size ones on YouTube and give it a go, and haven't looked back really. It's best money I spend every month, I think. Value for money for all the family. So yeah.
Okay, so that's what drew you there. What sort of, is there anything in particular that helps you to continue to be a member? What sort of helps you say, could you have joined for a few months and thought, right, this is it, I'm sorted now, and leave? What helps you to stay?
So the fact that the program you get as a member of core starts at level 1, and then obviously you can work your way up. I'm not sure, by the way, we'll ever get to level 5. I'm not sure I'll ever be that bendy. But it's something to aspire to. But it's the fact that I can work through the levels. There's a variety, and actually the time it saves me, because you put together a program every month. I used to go onto YouTube and spend about 20 minutes just looking for a suitable workout. And then you think, oh, but I've not really balanced it and I've not done that. Whereas obviously as a member of core, that's all done for you. So you've got that straight away. And then in addition, when I do fall off the bandwagon, as it happens, it was COVID that pushed me off the bandwagon, you understand.
Yes.
It's nothing
Yes.
else. Then obviously the support you've given me to help me get back into Pilates, to help me, because again, you know, I lost that space in my day, started a new job, you know, don't know how I'll ever find it. And you obviously helped me to get back to doing Pilates. And as well, having issues with my back, that was one of the things that attracted me to your workouts in the first place, because you always say, you know, and if your back's not feeling great today, then just do this. And so even before you knew I had any issues with my back, it was very clear that you understood that, you know, not everyone was going to be able to do the things, you know, that as they wanted to. So it's kind of that combination of individual support and the understanding that you've got of people being different and things. And then the length of the workouts as well, actually, because to fight, you know, a gym class, you go to a Pilates class, it's an hour. And by the time you've travelled there and you've travelled back, it's most of 2 hours. Whereas this, you know, I can find 20 minutes, you know, while the dinner's cooking or, you know, whatever it is. It's not such a big ask, and I can fit more in to my week that way, because I can fit it in most days than I would do if I was, you know, I would literally, if I was going to the gym, it would be a weekly Pilates class. Whereas this way, little and often is definitely the way forward.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. I mean, you've touched on so many different things there that I'm hoping people who are listening will resonate with. And it's, you know, one, yeah, we don't have to do an hour's class. And I think this is a belief that we have, or within the fitness industry, you have to do an hour's class, preferably high intensity, preferably get all hot and sweaty, so you're completely out of breath, and that means you've done a good work and you've worked hard, whatever. And I know from when I used to teach my classes face to face before the pandemic, I did an hour's class because that's how you booked the hall.
That's just what you did, wasn't it? Yeah.
And people would come out for an hour. Whereas to come out and travel, like you say, for 20 minutes or 15 minutes, you still go, well, it's not worth it. But online, like you said, you can then fit it in easier, and actually you're probably doing more than an hour.
I think I definitely, most weeks I do more than an hour. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so you know, so you touched on this a little bit. So before you joined core, what was your fitness regime like? You know, you said you had a gym membership. How often did you use it? Did you exercise regularly? What sorts of things did you do?
Yeah, so in a good week, I'd go sort of 3 times, but that didn't happen. Often it was twice, and sometimes it was even once. And then if I didn't get to the gym, I'd really beat myself up about it. You know, I'd feel guilty about the fact that I wasn't keeping myself in shape. I'd feel guilty about wasting the money, you know, just all of it. And actually, I think on balance, it probably made me overall feel worse than it ever did better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, looking back, it just wasn't really working for me. It wasn't, you know, a good use of either time or money.
Yeah. And then it's all that conversation you have with yourself afterwards, isn't it?
Constant, yeah.
Yeah. And I used to do exactly the same thing. And I know we've chatted about this as well before, Fiona, but you know, where you'd book yourself a class, you'd pay for the class.
Yeah.
And then you'd still talk yourself out of going. And then even when you have talked yourself out of going, you then berate yourself because you should have gone and then you didn't go. And then you feel guilty, or you feel selfish because you know, why should you be going out and doing this? You should be at home, or you should be working, or you should, you know, and it's that sort of argument in your head all the time.
Mind chatter.
Yeah. That is mentally tiring, isn't it?
Exhausting.
And that's something you touched on before, was how the fact that core provides you with a program, and you know what you're doing.
And also it's a balanced program as well. So I'm not thinking, oh, I've done a lot on my core and I haven't done anything on my legs or whatever, because you've got that balance there. It's done for you. The thinking, as it were, is done for you. So much like you'd get in a class, you know, if somebody took you through a number of things, obviously I'm doing that over a number of days. So yeah.
Yeah. So by the end of the week, you've had an overall work, you've worked all your body parts, everything. You've done a little bit every day.
Yes.
And you sort of said it in a nutshell there. It just takes the thinking away for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And we have so much to think about, don't we?
Yeah.
So many decisions to make all the time, that then when it comes to having to make a decision about whether to exercise or not, that's when we just get too tired and overwhelmed. And like I say, you can just waste time on YouTube scrolling through.
I was spending, some days I was, 30, 40 minutes choosing an appropriate workout, and then you start one and then it's not very good. So you find another one, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah. So knowing that, right, you're going to do this workout on this day or whatever, it makes life easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So beforehand, you were juggling things. You're trying to get to the gym. You were doing an hour's class or whatever. So what was you've touched on a little bit sort of how you would beat yourself up and everything about it. How does that compare to now and when you're doing exercise and your sort of mental approach to what you do now?
So because it's only 20 minutes, I never feel guilty about it anymore, and I always really enjoy it. I think because I'm not thinking, before in an hour's Pilates class, I'm thinking, I hope they finish on time. I've got to get home and get the kids to Scouts, or I've got to what are we going to have for tea? Whereas I find 20 minutes I can give myself completely to my Pilates. It's really good for my mental health as well, actually, because I do just have 20 minutes where I'm not thinking about what to have for tea or what marking I've got to do that night or anything like that. So it's not just my physical health, actually, it benefits. And obviously, I know we've talked about it before, that the sessions you're doing called the monthly mindset, and the speakers you've had there about how to calm that mind chatter down and how to make sure that you do take time for you. And I think increasingly we do recognise how important it is to take care of ourselves. But it's easier said than done. So I think the constant support to do that, and the constant support from you, that we're doing the right things, we're making progress. I think, we're not very good at being our own cheerleaders, are we? So it's quite nice to have someone who is absolutely on your side, that is always there to kind of help you if you need it, and cheer you on when you're doing well.
Yeah. So, someone who's got your back, avoid the pun, but
Absolutely.
got your back.
Yeah, you literally have got my back, actually, yeah.
So that you mentioned the mindset session. So we do that once a month, and we have like a different theme, don't we, each month in core. And they're themes that either through chatting with you, that, and all the members, that people have gone, I'd really like us to just talk about this, or things that I've come across myself and I thought, I think this would be of value. And so we've talked about procrastination and how to get around that. We've talked about sort of instant gratification. We've talked about planning and how we can plan our workouts. We've talked about time. And like you said, we've had speakers in as well. Yeah. So we had some guest speakers, which have just been fantastic. Yeah. And, talking about the words and how we speak to ourselves, and the power of those words. And like you say, we don't tend to recognize what we've achieved and what we've done. And we just focus on what we still can't do rather than what we have achieved. Yeah. And so it's good to have that. And so this is like going right back to my comment at the beginning, core is not just an online library of workouts. It is that you've got your program, you know what you're doing, you can follow that. And the programs, like you said, are at different stages, so they meet different people's abilities. And we have the monthly mindset sessions, which are to support, all of you in being able to actually do the Pilates and make that time for it. So that's another session, and we do a live session as well, don't we, once a month as well, a live actual class. So I can give you feedback on that as well. So you said it's really good for your mental health as well as your physical health, and you touched on things like that your mind being quieter, calmer. And
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you've got your 20 minutes, you can just be in the zone and you can just have 20 minutes completely to yourself, not with distractions or anything else. And I know exactly what you mean. You go get to the end of the class and you're looking at the clock thinking, I need to go, come on. And then you're not there, are you? Your mind's gone somewhere else. And we've talked about this in core as well as one of our mindset things about distractions, you know, and finding an appropriate place to do Pilates at home, so that you're not distracted by email notifications or all the kids' toys or the pile of washing or whatever, you know, you might, in the zone. So where do you do you have a Pilates space where you do it that you find works for you?
Yeah, I do. It's funny. In the summer, more I do have a space because we've got a spare room. So in the summer, and particularly after in lockdown, that was my Pilates studio. And when my husband's parents wanted to come and stay, they weren't very impressed when I said that they couldn't because it would become my Pilates studio. But we don't tend to heat that in the winter. So in the winter, I tend to don't have a space set up all the time. But, you know, I've got one of the big balls that's always out. But, you know, my other things are sort of tucked away. But I just, you know, it doesn't take a minute to kind of get things out because I know what I'm doing. I've not got to spend time thinking about what to do next. So I just work on to the next program. So, I don't have a space permanently set up in the winter. But come the spring, I shall return my Pilates studio.
Back to your studio. Yes, absolutely. So one of the other things you mentioned was sort of individual support, and so the programs within core are different levels. So you can pick a level that you feel is appropriate for you to work on. You can progress through them, or you can stay at your level. There's no competition with anyone else or anything. It's just for you. Obviously, within all the workouts, like you say, and if anyone's done any of my workouts or joined the experience, you know I automatically always say, now, if this is going to bother your back, just drop a leg down, or if this is going to hurt your knees, you can do it like this. So I give options. And you mentioned the one-to-one support, because over the year there was a couple of times where I hadn't heard from you, or we'd had a progress call and we jumped on and it was like, okay, so how's it going, Fiona? And you're a bit like, it's not really.
No, indeed.
And you'd sort of felt you'd lost track, and because lifestyle had changed at home, jobs changed, you know, things like that, which then threw your plans as such. So can you tell us a little bit about that and how perhaps the support, you know, helped you get back on track?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd worked through and I was on sort of level 2, 3 of your program, was doing quite well with it, and then got COVID in sort of just at the end of August, really, and really struggled after COVID because it was all I could do to get to work every day. And then, you know, I was just kind of done for the day. But I noticed that my back was suffering as a result of that. So my back was just becoming worse and worse. And it's like the less you move, the less you want to move, isn't it? And I know that, you know, from past experience, that if I don't move, then I'm more at risk of injuring myself. So obviously, you sensed that all was not well, and got in touch, and I sort of explained, and you helped to put together a back care program, as it were. So rather than, because what I was starting to do was print off your program every month and think, well, I'm never going to do that. I don't know where to start. I don't know which ones are going to help my back, and it's all going to hurt, and I can't do any of it. So I'd kind of fallen back into making excuses. But you put together 3 sort of different workouts that would be gentle on my back, but would get me moving again, right up to the point where I felt I could get back into the normal core program, which I've, you know, kind of started back at the bottom again of now. And some weeks are better than others, but doing better with it now, and feeling the benefits again. So that sort of support, obviously, you wouldn't normally get from an online program, because normally it would be a library of workouts, you know, choose your own, deal with yourself. So it's that sort of progress checks that allowed you to pick up that I'd fallen off the wagon, and that just give me that support to help me get back. And it was never, you know, I never felt sort of told off, you know, oh, well, you really should, you know, you never said that. You were always like, well, what can we do, how can we help, you know, It was always supportive. So you were my biggest cheerleader. And you know, when I had managed to do it, you're doing really well, and that kind of positivity really helped. So to the point, I say, where this year I've managed to start getting back onto the normal core program.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, you know, it really helped just having that bit of time. We do these progress calls. So again, you're not left on your own. So I do 3 a year, and we touch base, don't we, and see how things are going and pick up on anything which you think you need a bit more support with or help or whatever. And in that case, it was just the right thing to do for you was to provide you with a back care program that you could just do and ease back in and whatever. And yeah, there's never any guilt. There's never any, it's just, right, okay, well, this is where we are. Let's see how we can move forward. Let's find a solution. How can we make it work? And to do that, and to give you, the support. And we checked in quite regularly for a while, didn't we? Just checking in, you're okay. And gradually getting you back on track again. So that I like to feel that is something that if I was a member, I would want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's there if you need it. It's not, you know, sort of overt and things, but it's there if you need it. And you always say, you know, if you want a progress call, then book a time. If it's not convenient, you know, let me know. Or if you don't want, that's fine too. So it's not intrusive in any way. It's just, you know, really supportive and really helpful.
Good. So what do you think, looking back over your last year and a little bit of core, what do you think has been your biggest achievement that you're really proud of? We're talking about celebrating ourselves. It can be a physical thing, it can be a mental thing, or just anything that comes to mind.
I think it's kind of one of each, really, because I think physically I'm better off for it because I say I have a back condition, and that's much more under control now. And you know, kind of helps me to stay moving and things. So physically I'm better off for it, but mentally as well, because I do have that time, you know, 20 minutes. It is only 20 minutes, but it's 20 minutes that I wouldn't normally have had, that I would be completely engrossed in something else. I say it would have been an hour of, well, I'd kind of get into it for 20 minutes, and then I think, oh, she's much more flexible than I am, and the teacher's going to think I'm really rubbish, and you know, what time do the kids need to go out and things. So you know, on a regular basis, I'm having 20 minutes where my mind is calm, you know, the mind chatter stops, and I just involve myself in this, and I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel that I should have been doing anything else at the same time. So I think, it's kind of physical and mental in that sense.
Yeah, and that's massive progress, isn't it? That's a massive mindset shift.
Yeah. Yes.
From before. And do you feel that by doing little and often benefits you more than just doing it once a week?
Yeah, much more so. I say I think I'm physically stronger for doing it because it is little and often. And I think just from you know, if I say to children, right, I'm just going, you know, I'll be back down in 25 minutes, then it's no big deal. Or as I say, I'm going to the gym, you know, I'll be back in a couple of hours, then you know, you feel much more guilty about that. So I think, the little and often works much better in every respect. It works better for me, it works better for my family, and it works for everyone.
Yeah, and it helps you get into a better habit, I think, as well.
And I miss it now if I don't do it. Whereas really, I'm not sure I was ever going to the gym for the right reasons. I was going to the gym because, you know, everybody tells you need to keep fit. So I pay my gym membership and I'll go to the gym. It wasn't actually because I enjoyed it. Whereas now I do actually enjoy it. And I think, I can do Pilates when I get home, and I look forward to it. Yeah. So it's a complete mind shift from where I was with exercise before. It was just another job to do before. Whereas now, it's something I do need to do, but I actually enjoy doing it. So it's, you know, better in every corner.
Yeah, and that is just huge what you've said about. And I always say to people, you know, you've got to enjoy doing it. If you don't, if you don't want to be active or something, but Pilates you just doesn't get on with, fine. Find something you enjoy doing. Yes. Because if you enjoy doing something, that you're well over halfway to getting there because you want to do it, rather than feeling you should do it, know, because that's what's expected of you. And of course, by doing the little and often with fitness, you don't just don't suddenly get a six-pack in, 6 days or something like that, or whatever. It takes time to build up. And so all these little increments just gradually accrue, don't they, and build up. Yeah. And when you do it, immediately afterwards, how do you feel when you've done your session?
Yeah, really good. I'm really, I tend to feel much more relaxed, a bit taller sometimes as well. A bit more stretched out, standing straighter. So and just really good for having done it.
Yeah. And that feeling, then sometimes if you were doing a weekly class, so gravity has this effect on us, and we start like this, and life has
and I wouldn't take time to enjoy it if it was a weekly class, because I would be thinking, right, must get home, must do this, must do that. So no, it's much better.
Good. Yeah, that feeling just remains, doesn't it? And you feel good, and you're like, and just by the next day you can still remember that feeling, still fresh in you, and you're like, I felt good. And just you saying that you look forward to getting home and doing it, that's just massive. That's just such a change from like when I first spoke to you over a year ago, and that you enjoy doing it and look forward to doing it. So people who say, I haven't got the time for exercise, or I don't like exercise, or I never get the benefits, you're getting the benefits because you're doing it regularly, consistently, and you're enjoying it, and it's in a way that is easy.
Yes, that's the thing, it is easy. And low stress.
Good. Well, thank you very much, Fiona. I don't no questions have popped up as we're talking. I just checked my phone in case anything else has. If anyone comes back and asks any questions or whatever, I may come back to you if you want their answer. Nicola's just put, really positive story, another inspiring lady. So much of Fiona's story is resonating with me. So it does. And when we've chatted before, we've both sort of felt like we were reading each other's minds, I get there. I'm with you on it. Absolutely. So yes, thank you very much, Fiona, for joining me tonight and sharing that with everyone. It really helps to share your experiences to help inspire other women who perhaps are sat there thinking, well, I don't think I can do this, or like you said, I don't think it's possible. I don't think I've got the time or anything. Both of us, and I mean this in the best possible way, we're just ordinary women.
Yeah, completely. Very.
Very ordinary. We are special because we're all special and unique, but you know what I mean? We're just the same. We're mums, we've got work, we've got life, and everything. So, if we can do it, then then anyone can. So even if people watching this, if you're thinking, well, I'm not sure, I don't know, then maybe it's worth just giving it a go and trying. Right, so the doors are open to CORE. If you would like to join, they are open. Welcome new members at the minute. So if Fiona's story and whatever does resonate with you, and you're thinking, I could do this too. If Fiona can do it, if Jane, who I spoke to yesterday, can do it, then I can as well. Then please come and join. I'll put the links below the videos, and come and try it for yourself, and I will chat to you. We'll have a welcome call. We'll see where you're at and what you want to work on, what you need help with. So it's I hope that's given you a better insight to what's involved in CORE and what's inside. So tomorrow night I'm going to be joined by Lara. She's another member of CORE. Again, she's a busy mum running her own business and so on, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about her story. So again, you get someone else's point of view and perspective on what they've got from CORE. So thank you very much, Fiona. Thank you everyone who has joined us live and who's going to watch on replay as well. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy the rest of your week, and hopefully I might see you tomorrow night if you join me then. Take care, everyone. See you later. Thank you.